Patrick Byrne, founder of the America Project, former CEO, here with Senator Shamp of Arizona. State Senator Shamp, welcome to the America Project interview.
Thank you very much. I'm honored to be here.
And Senator Shamp's professional career is as an OR nurse, which is basically the fighter pilots of being a nurse. You're taking people right out of, right at the edge as they're coming back, and has been involved in the case for medical freedom, which brought her into politics. Tell us about your involvement with medical freedom in Arizona.
It all started, I worked entirely all the way through the pandemic in October of 2021 when I refused the actual mandate for the vaccine. I was fired. So I had to make a decision what I was going to do. And so with that decision came asking for what is our state actually doing for this? What are we actually doing to protect our healthcare workers? What are we doing to protect medical autonomy? Every day is something I stand for with my patients. You have a right based on your belief system, and the 1964 Civil Rights Act, the EEOC says so, personal beliefs. Not just religious freedom, but personal beliefs are observances that need to be respected. And I fight for that every day for my patients, but now all of a sudden no one wants to fight for the healthcare workers that are trying to stand for their own.
America Project did. We backed cases, we backed lawyers. We were all about, that was after election integrity. The second thing was medical freedom, and then the third was border. But we started right out of the gate fighting for medical and backing these different law groups around the country. So thank you for being willing to be the front person that pointed the spear on those fights.
Thanks.
So great. What happened?
So what ended up happening is I jumped into a primary and I ran against an incumbent who was not standing for medical freedom for healthcare workers or for anyone else. So I asked a question. A lot of people ask me, are you all hat, no cattle? Like, why do you dress the way you do, Senator Shamp? Well, the reason is because I was told when I asked, how does a political outsider win, get elected, get into office, and make change for the citizens of our state, I was told two things. Always be yourself and work harder than your opponent. So I'm a rancher's wife. I'm a cowgirl. I've ridden horse my whole life. I come from the country, and there's no one that works.
Don't these city people seem like kooks? If you come from the country, don't city people seem like kooks, kind of? It's weird. Go ahead.
What's really baffling to me is my neighbor can live 5 miles away, and I know them, I know their family, I know their parents, I know all their history. And people that live in the city and they could throw a rock and hit their neighbor's house, they don't know them. They drive into their garage and shut the door and never come out. I don't understand that.
So what was the second thing?
The second thing is work harder than your opponent. And working harder than your opponent, that's an easy thing for me. I'm a nurse. I work hard for what's right. Always have, always will.
So you were elected in the 2022 election?
Yes, sir.
How's been your first year in the Arizona Senate?
About a week in, I called my husband and I told him if I have a choice here. Do I worry about getting reelected? Or do I do what I set out to do when I came here? And he told me, he says, it's just like when you were nursing and you made your decision. You decided to stand for what's right. Why would you change that now? And I'm like, you know what? You're right.
Are you that attached to the job that you would do anything else?
Absolutely not.
Is it that glamorous?
Absolutely not. But it's amazing how they try to twist you to covet the office or to not make waves. So what I find interesting is that hospital politics and politics at the legislature aren't that different. So I actually kind of had a leg up on some because I understand the game.
Have you been able to accomplish anything in the Senate?
I have.
Tell us.
I have. My number one bill that I'm the most proud of has to do and affects, now you know that we have a Democrat governor.
Yes.
So getting real solid
protection. You have a communist
protection.
governor pretending to be a Democrat.
Yeah. I mean, I would say that these people left the Democrat Party behind a long time ago, and I feel sorry for those that are true Democrats.
Yeah, they're Nazi 2.0. People forget fascism is a phenomenon of the left. There was a socialist Italian who ran the socialist magazine of Italy, Avanti, in 1910 or 1914. You know, he fought in World War I and afterwards came out, and he took his socialism and put a new sprinkle of nationalism on it, National Socialism. That was Benito Mussolini. He was an Italian socialist. It is a phenomenon of the left.
Yes.
So thank you for standing up to this Nazi 2.0.
It is, definitely. So the one bill that I did get across the finish line that I'm the most proud of, well, actually two. First of all, price transparency. You should know what it's going to cost when you go to the hospital. What other service do you say, okay, I need you to do this for me, that you don't know the price going in? I mean, even if you take your dog to the veterinarian, they give you a quote before they do anything. That's not how we operate in America, and I wanted to know why. Why do we not know? And as you know, President Trump did the executive order for price transparency, so I brought it to the state level.
Really? Good for you. Good for you.
So I'm very proud of that, and I'm also very proud
Did it pass?
of... Yes, it did, and the governor signed it. The governor did sign it. She signed 6 bills. And as a freshman senator, I got 18 of them to her desk.
She signed 6 bills that you were involved in?
6 of my bills she signed into law. Yes, sir.
Right on. That's a big success.
There were some bipartisan things. So since I'm not afraid of being attacked, I'm not afraid of being, you you covet the office things. I don't care. I'm here to do a job. Principles before personalities. I was able to work across the aisle with some Democrats, not woke, crazy, but Democrats, and work on getting things that should be bipartisan to the governor's desk. Now, there were other things. Not only did she veto SB 1250, which was my medical freedom bill, utilizing the verbiage straight out of the 1964 Civil Rights Act, so that you do not have to take an emergency use authorized injection that's mandated, that we can't do this to our citizens ever again. So she vetoed it, and in her veto letter, I have it framed in my office, it fuels my fire. She called the people that chose to not get vaccinated uneducated and unhealthy. And I take serious offense to that, and so do a lot of others.
It's a violation, I'm sure you know, of the Nuremberg Convention of 1947, which specifically calls out that all the personnel, medical personnel involved, have a duty to make their own decision, that the experimental treatment being given to people has been willingly accepted. There's no coercion, force,
informed consent.
Yes, and it was not informed and it was not consensual.
Correct.
So that's a violation of the Nuremberg Code.
Agreed. And the Bradley report I'm also hearing is something else, that if we're going to actually do that in the United States, that's going to have a different view, a different look to it. And I'm not sure. One of the things that I did start, I was granted the ability to be the chairperson of the Novel Coronavirus Intergovernmental Committee. So what this is 3 state legislators, 3 congressional members, and Dr. Peter McCullough as ex officio. And what we've done is, I look at everything as a nurse. That's my lens. When we have a code, when we have someone who stops breathing or their heart stops, what we do, there's specific policies, there's specific procedures that we follow. Afterwards, we do one thing every single time. It's called a code debrief. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? What can we improve? And then the emotional component, so that you don't take this home. Because, I mean, the mental capacities, the passion, when you give all that and you go through that, you need to be able to debrief through that. So I've taken the committee and that same approach. What did we do right? What did we do wrong? What do we need to fix before this ever happens again? Because it looks to me like they're trying to set it up again, and then give the people the right to have their grievances heard. There were lots of people that were, and these people will tell you, their family members were killed and they weren't allowed to be there. And that they need to be able to speak to their elected officials about their experiences, and I gave them that opportunity.
What did Arizona do on hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin?
So funny you should ask that. I have a friend who's in the hospital right now, currently right now, who is on a breathing tube because they gave him remdesivir when he first got there. Family member realized what was happening, stopped it. It was too late. He got a dose. No more has been given, but we did find out it is against hospital policy to give ivermectin.
24% of people put on remdesivir die.
With 1 dose. And they like to give more and more. And we know remdesivir, if you want to look at how well remdesivir works, it only works in the beginning of replication. So usually when patients get to the hospital, they've been sick they've already had the virus replicating in their body for 5 to 7 days. Remdesivir does not work once the progression and the replication has gotten that far. And it's deadly. And
ivermectin and hydroxychloroquine do in that first week, is what the doctors say.
So that was one of the biggest things we talked about, is prevention, right? When have we ever told people, you're not sick enough yet, go home, and then didn't offer them anything
Come
to
back
take?
if your lips turn blue.
Right? They
exactly.
Did. They
what
said
you
that.
Normally would give people like prednisone for the inflammation. You would give them AZT maybe. If somebody shows up with an upper respiratory infection, usually, how do you handle it?
Azithromycin is usually something that they're treated with, yes. They were saying that they didn't have an actual infection to treat, right? That's what they were saying. So, okay, if it's not bacterial pneumonia, it's a viral infection. Okay, so what can we do to support the immune system? Why are we not at least doing that? Why are we not talking about zinc, vitamin C, vitamin D? My friend that was in the hospital, He was 6 days before they actually ever tested his vitamin D levels to give him vitamin D.
Wow, that's nuts. And it
Why?
turns out that vitamin D...
We're 3 years into this and we still haven't changed any policies?
It's almost like people have some other priority.
It's almost like they have some other priority. So then that's when I asked the question, and apparently when a senator asks the question, it brings people's attention to it.
Yeah.
Why are we not talking about these drugs? Why are there policies against it? Is there some kind of reimbursement we don't know about? Because there's no other reason.
Get to the bottom of that. That would be my guess. There's some money, payoff, something, telling people not to do it. Well, Senator, do you have anything else you want to tell us about activities regarding what you're doing with health in Arizona?
The biggest thing that I tell everybody, get educated. Go find the answers that you need. And trust your gut.
Thanks for fighting the fight.
Thank you,
For
Patrick.
the America Project. Thanks, Senator.